also called the U.S.-Mexico-Canada trade agreement, which he signed in this first term, a transition deal, and raised the possibility of renegotiating it, something Canada's new leader signaled he's open to.
It is a basis for a broader negotiation. Some things about it are going to have to change.
Canadians elected Carney last week, in part because of his pledge to stand firm against President Trump. And stand firm is exactly what he tried to do when the president once again floated the idea of Canada becoming the 51st state.
It's not for sale, won't be for sale, ever.
But President Trump remained undeterred.
I say never. I've had many things that were not doable, and they ended up being doable, and only doable in a very friendly way.
Despite any differences, President Trump pledged the U.S. will always have Canada's back, at least in one regard, militarily. Torian Small, CBS News, the White House.
Meanwhile, here at home, the Hawaii International Film Festival is bracing for a more than $200,000 funding loss as the White House moves to shut down the National Endowment for the Arts. HIFF says the cuts put them at a 20% budget deficit this year. The festival says it will go forward with the year's events, but it's putting a call out for donations to stay afloat. To give, head to hiff.org. Honolulu police are investigating after a man was stabbed in the Liliha area. EMS crews were called to the scene near the intersection of Liliha and King Streets at around 6:15 this morning. They rushed a 28-year-old man to the hospital. He has a stab wound to his neck. No word on what led up to this or on a possible suspect. The victim is considered to be in serious condition. And another stabbing, this one in the McCully area. A 44-year-old man is recovering after he was allegedly stabbed multiple times by his girlfriend. This happened at the Waikiki Vista building on Kapi'olani Boulevard. That's right near Alawai Community Park. Now, EMS says the man was stabbed in the torso and was rushed to the hospital in serious condition. The 61-year-old suspect was taken into custody. A Chinese language teacher who was doused with acid near Ala Moana Center has now returned to the classroom. It comes after a slow and painful recovery. In January of last year, Danyang Jiang was walking home after shopping when a man threw a cup of acid at her outside the Planet Fitness. The Marino language teacher, who speaks Mandarin, was severely burned and nearly died. Jiang has already undergone 6 surgeries, with even more to come.
So at first, when she got attacked, she has no time to react, and feels like hot water for her at first. And then her clothes started falling off. Then she realized it's not hot water. So she ran into the Planet Fitness Center to get the shower off. So I want to say, be brave, face the challenges, no matter the good or bad in your life continues.
Investigators have said the man accused of the attack, Sebastian McQuan, was part of a murder-for-hire plot linked to Paul Cameron, the suspect in a separate acid attack in Mililani back in 2023. They say the men met in jail and they conspired to have McQuan attack a random victim with acid to cast doubt on Cameron's case. Their criminal cases have been linked, but yesterday both men appeared in court to ask for separate trials.
The state's contention is that these two incidences are connected because the defendant Cameron had developed this conspiracy with defendant McQuan in order to try and raise doubt as to his guilt in the first attack.
You know, we're going to be here doing trials regardless whether it's this one or another one, so why risk the prejudice in this case by consolidating the trials?
The judge agreed with the defense and allowed the cases to be severed, so each man will be tried separately. Both sides are due back in court next month. Native Hawaiian leaders are demanding Isaac Choi of the Hawaii Tourism Authority step down. He's accused of making a racist remark and creating a hostile work environment due to chauvinistic views toward women. But HTA's Vice President of Finance and Acting Chief Administrative Officer told Hawaii News Now he's not resigning.
Saying things like dumb Hawaiian you know, and it rolls off your tongue that quick, damn Hawaiian. So you know that's how he really thinks about our people. So why is he there?
Mr. Choi, are you a racist?
I am not a racist. I don't even kind of know what the definition of the word is. The term that's been bandied around is the term dumb Hawaiian. 2 years ago, we were in contract negotiations, and I could have said that. I apologize profusely for that. And it was very inartful of me of saying something like that. And since that time, I don't think I've been accused of saying that ever again.
Senator Kurt Favela is also calling for James Tokioka, the State Director of Business, Economic Development and Tourism, to resign. Tokioka says the incident was 2 years ago and was resolved after he wrote a written warning and Choi apologized to the staff. The governor has directed Hawaii's Attorney General to investigate the allegations. UH Manoa is now searching for a new provost. Michael Bruno announced yesterday that he's stepping down from the position effective July 1st. He'll return to the faculty as a professor of ocean engineering. Bruno was appointed to be the university's first provost in 2019. Enrollment at UH Manoa went up during that time despite national trends going the opposite direction. He's also credited for the university's high graduation and retention rates. Bruno has been a part of the university community for 10 years. Despite several wrongfully convicted men being freed from prison recently, state lawmakers failed to pass a bill to provide them with upfront money. The measure died while waiting to be introduced in the Ways and Means Committee. Our chief investigative reporter Lynn Kwano shows us why those affected say it's needed.
The Senate bill would have required the state to notify those exonerated about compensation and provide immediate financial relief. The celebration does not last long for those freed from prison years after being wrongfully convicted. After the reunions, reality sets in. The financial hardship can be overwhelming. Alvin Jardine of Maui served 19 years for rape before DNA cleared him of the crime in 2011. Shortly after his release, Jardine ended up homeless. Others recently freed said that could have happened to them too.
I came out with the clothes on my back. Even the medicine, they told me go to the pharmacy and refill my medicine. I got 30-day supply. I went over there. They said, yeah, you got to pay for it.
When you come out, there's no resources for you. You just have to get out here and try to survive. And just going around and trying to get a job when you've been in for decades.
State Senator Carl Rhodes introduced a bill this session to help clear up language from a previous law passed nearly a decade ago. Designed to give $50,000 for every year the person served, it was seemingly impossible because the person had to be declared innocent.
Our system does not allow for a verdict of innocent. It's you're either guilty or not guilty.
The state Supreme Court recently clarified that.
You don't have to demonstrate actual innocence. As long as the judge's order vacating the conviction is based on evidence that's consistent with you being actually innocent.
Still, the prosecutors have been fighting claims for compensation.
Can you tell me how many claims have been filed under the compensation for wrongful imprisonment law since it was first enacted in 2016?
I don't have that specific statistic.
The state attorney general's office testified in opposition, calling the bill vague and a conflict since they prosecute people. Some say it would also be expensive, but there have only been 4 people who have tried to get the money.
And how many of those claims have been admitted by the AG where you said, oh, you're right, we'll give you the money?
I don't handle all those claims, so I don't know how the other attorneys have resolved those cases.
I think the answer is 0. No one's gotten any compensation at all.
The bill passed the Judiciary Committee in February, but died because it was not introduced in the Ways and Means Committee. Supporters hope it advances next session. I'm Lynn Kawano, Hawaii News Now.
All right, let's take you live to Kilauea, where episode 20 is continuing, but it is a lot quiet now. USGS says the activity has produced short lava flows that we've been seeing earlier today, and sustained lava flows could likely continue between now and tomorrow. The current hazards, though, include Vogue, Pele's Hair, and Tephra.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. We're tracking trade winds out there throughout the rest of this week and beyond. And luckily, the trade winds will be moving all of the VOG away from the rest of the island chain. So the areas that are going to be impacted are the areas just around Hawaii Volcanoes National Park in Kilauea and the entirety of the Kona coast of Hawaii Island. You can see it's relatively breezy outside right now. You can see in our first alert windcast as well as we're going forward. We are going to be seeing breezy trades throughout each afternoon between 15 to 25 miles per hour. For sustained winds, some wind gusts could get slightly higher than that, closer to 30 miles per hour, especially in areas that are just downwind of Melco regions. You can take a look at our first alert futurecast as well as we're going forward over the next couple of hours. We are going to be seeing some showers later tonight because of the remnants of a weak cold front. I'll give you a further breakdown on that and my full forecast coming up.
Thank you, Drew. In Rome, final preparations are underway for the conclave to begin tomorrow at the Vatican. It's likely a new pope will be selected by the end of the week. Bradley Blackburn is at the Vatican with the latest.
With Michelangelo's frescoes watching from above, the Sistine Chapel sits ready to host 133 cardinals from 70 countries as they elect a new pope. In one of the final traditions ahead of the conclave, Pope Francis's fisherman's ring and his official seal were destroyed.
Wait and see.
Many cardinals remain tight-lipped just one day before they begin voting.
We won't have a new Francis. Yeah, Francis is Francis.
To be a pope has so many different kind of job requirements, right?
CBS News papal contributor Delia Gallagher says the first vote will establish who the real contenders are.
What would surprise you here?
An African pope. It would surprise and please me. My sense is that we'll be going back to probably an Italian pope or at least a pope who's had a lot of experience.
Many of the rules of this conclave were set back in the 13th century after an election that lasted almost 3 years. While there's still no deadline, more recent conclaves have lasted only 2 days. And as for the white or black smoke that signals a decision, that's a relatively modern tradition dating back just more than 100 years.
And when it starts coming out, the problem is it's a little bit gray. And so you don't really know until a little bit further on. And then, of course, if it's white, the bells will start to ring. And then you know they've elected a pope.
Cameras from around the globe are already focused on that chimney, waiting for the conclave to begin. And the old-fashioned signal of a new chapter for the Catholic Church. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, the Vatican.
It's peak season for floral gifts, but what about those tariffs? I'm Michael George with a look at the supply chain and how you can save.
Also ahead on, this is now a historic blessing for Honolulu EMS as it expands its fleet to help care for more patients. Honolulu Emergency Services is adding 16 new vehicles to its fleet. That includes the city's first ambubus, a mass casualty vehicle that can be used to treat and transport multiple patients at one time. The largest fleet blessing in the department's history was just held today at Ke'ehi Lagoon. Well, peak season is upon us for all things floral, Mother's Day, graduations, weddings. And while the U.S. does grow some of its own flowers, the bulk of blooms come from overseas and are subject to tariffs. Michael George has more.
We get flowers from Ecuador, Colombia, Canada, Thailand, Holland.
Chances are the stems in your favorite bouquet have traveled. And these days, that likely means a tariff.
We're going to do the best we can to sort of keep those prices where they need to be, but people can definitely expect to be paying a little bit more.
80% of flowers consumed in the United States are grown elsewhere. Last year, the U.S. imported $2.2 billion worth of cut flowers and greens, the bulk of it from South America.
The fact that they can grow year-round gave them a natural advantage.
Kate Penn is CEO of the Society of American Florists. She says domestically, small growers, many of them an acre or less, have flourished since the pandemic, selling at farmers markets and to a blossoming wedding industry.
The consumer does want to buy local, especially brides. They love to be able to have local flowers featured.
But even small growers like Moonshot Farm here in East Windsor, New Jersey, aren't immune to the fallout from tariffs.
The bulbs that we grow these from are imported from Italy and Holland.
Farmer Rebecca Kutzer-Rice says she just received her first few shipments to be hit with 10% tariffs.
We're estimating it could cost our small business anywhere from $40,000 to $50,000 a year, which for a small farm is almost the equivalent of like a salary of another employee.
Industry experts say consumers can still get what they want, just set a budget and let the florist work their magic.
There literally are countless substitutions, and florists are just masters at creating something that's still going to make a big impact.
A rosy outlook, even with the added cost of tariffs. Michael George, CBS News, East Windsor, New Jersey.
And stick around. Coming up after the break, we're tracking breezy trades and a couple of showers. I'll take you to our hour-by-hour forecast.
First Alert Weather with Drew Davis.
Well, happy Tuesday, everybody. Breezy trades are in the forecast throughout the rest of this week. A real summer-like pattern here across the island chain. We're also tracking some showers out there as well. Let's break down our hour-by-hour forecast. Taking you outside right now, you can even see it's breezy outside At the airport, east-northeasterlies around 21 miles per hour. Temperatures right now around 85, so a little bit warm. Expanding this out throughout the rest of this evening, we're going to be in the green. Maybe later tonight we see a few sprinkles around the islands, but overall, the main focus of this is going to be breezy trades. You can see in our island-by-island forecast as we're going into Wednesday over on Kauai, we've got scattered showers, partly sunny conditions, east-northeasterlies between 15 to 20 miles per hour, gust a little bit higher than 25 miles per hour. Maui County, spotty showers, mostly sunny out there, a little bit breezy out over the island of Maui, 85 in Kahului, 85 in Kihei, and then moving over to Hawaii Island, 85 in Kona, some spotty evening showers. Showers are more likely on the Hilo side over near Puna as well. Partly sunny, east-northeasterlies between 5 to 15 miles per hour. The northern portions of Hawaii Island will be mostly sunny and gusty at times. You can see in our first alert futurecast as we're going throughout the rest of this evening, a band of moisture is expected to move in late tonight. This is around 8 p.m. You can see the moisture moving in across the state late tonight into early tomorrow morning. A few sprinkles maybe in the forecast as you're driving into work tomorrow morning, and then Wednesday afternoon seem to be drying out overall throughout the rest of this week. Mostly windward and Mauka showers out there. Our first alert windcast outside for Tuesday around 2 p.m. So in a couple of hours. Sustained winds anywhere between 20 to 25 miles per hour across the state. Similar story through Wednesday afternoon and Thursday afternoon. There's surf and shoreline forecast. North-facing shores around 3 to 5 feet, seeing a small northwest pulse. South-facing shores around 1 to 3. East-facing shores a little bit choppy out there with the trade wind swell. Your first alert 7-day forecast. You can see over the next couple of days expecting a lot of sunshine and of course a better chance for overnight showers, maybe some early morning windward showers. East-northeasterlies anywhere between 15 to 25 miles per hour today and Wednesday. That's when we're expecting the trades to be the strongest. Thursday between 15 to 20 miles per hour, a little bit weaker on Friday and still breezy going into the weekend. 86 for high temperatures today, 85 for Wednesday, and we'll be seeing low temperatures around 74 to 73 degrees. The main focus again is these trades are here to stay very summer-like, and also a couple of overnight windward showers.
Thank you, Drew. Still to come, this is why you need to pay attention when your kid is playing with your phone. The sweet surprise that showed up at this Kentucky mom's home in 2 minutes. right, it's time for some good news now. Well, this might not be good news for the mom in this story, but it's really funny. So imagine opening your front door to find dozens of cases of lollipops. That's exactly what happened to a woman in Lexington, Kentucky.
Her son accidentally ordered 70,000 suckers on Amazon. As Amber Philpott reports, she had a tough time getting her money back.
A massive dum-dum drop at Holly LaFavor's front door via Amazon. 70,000 suckers on the porch. LaFavor says her son made the purchase on her Amazon app. She says she tried to stop the order before it came to her house, but it was too late. And then she checked her bank account.
I just panicked, and then when I saw what the number was, I just about fainted.
She's on the hook for more than $4,000. The order was so large, she's had to put some of it in her garage.
This was just a fluke thing that happened.
LaFavor says her 8-year-old son Liam got her phone and made the purchase of 30 cases of suckers. Liam has developmental delays and was born with fetal alcohol spectrum disorder. She says the condition affects his decision making.
He told me that he wanted to have a carnival, and he was ordering the dum-dums as prizes for his carnival. So, you know, again, he was being friendly, he was being kind to his friends.
To make matters worse, she says 8 of the 30 cases were unaccounted for. She had to go to the post office to rectify the situation.
The packages that were, the 8 that are missing were actually scanned in here as being rejected.
LaFavor says those 8 cases were returned to sender, and she hopes she can at least get that portion of her money back.
This is Holly LaFavors. How are you?
She says Amazon delivered the other 22 cases. LaFavors had trouble getting in contact with Amazon for a refund, but we were able to help her make a connection.
I was told that you might be able to assist me with the issue that I'm having with Amazon.
Amazon took her information and said they'd look into her claim.
Oh, I am so appreciative of the help.
For now, she has cases of suckers she doesn't want, but her favorite flavor, blue raspberry, is inside. Any thoughts on taking just one?
No. I know how expensive that box is, and I am not tempted to crack it open.
Now, LaFavors did finally get her $4,000 refunded. She says she will change some of her settings on her phone so this doesn't happen again.
I think she got to keep the lollipops.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a lot of pain to like ship back. That's why. Yeah.
You could like donate.
It would have been a win-win,
donate
right?
some to a doctor's office or something.
That's right. Thanks for watching, everyone. More news first at 4 right here on KHNL.